I had always heard stories about the eerie house on the edge of town, but I never believed in ghosts. Bored one night and looking for a thrill, I decided to see it for myself. I knew it was stupid, but curiosity got the best of me. The moment I stepped inside, a cold draft brushed past my face, sending chills down my spine. My flashlight flickered as I carefully moved down the dusty hallway, the faded wallpaper peeling off the walls. Each step I took made the floor creak beneath me, and the stale smell of damp wood filled the air. Suddenly, I heard a faint, rhythmic tapping. Tap, tap, tap. It came from upstairs. My heart raced, but something kept pushing me forward. Maybe it was my need to prove to myself that I wasn't afraid, or just sheer recklessness. I crept up the staircase, each step groaning loudly in the unsettling silence. When I reached the top, the tapping abruptly stopped. Everything went deathly quiet. Then I heard it, a faint whisper from behind a closed door at the end of the hall. "Help me," the voice said, barely audible. Fear tightened in my chest, but I forced myself to move. I pushed the door open slowly. The room was empty except for an old rocking chair facing the window. It swayed gently, as if someone had just left it. Dust coated everything except the chair, which looked strangely clean. I felt a strange urge to touch the chair. My hand trembled as I reached out, barely brushing the wood. Suddenly, a raspy voice whispered right in my ear. I spun around, shining my flashlight wildly, but the room was empty. My breathing grew shallow, and the air felt colder, heavier. Then, the chair behind me creaked violently, rocking back and forth with sudden force, slamming against the floor repeatedly. Bang! 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 The rhythm was frantic, like a desperate cry for help. My instinct screamed at me to run, but I was frozen in place. Then I heard footsteps, slow, dragging steps, approaching from the hallway. A tall, gaunt figure emerged from the shadows, barely visible in the dim light. He had hollow, vacant eyes that seemed to pierce through me. He raised a bony finger, pointing directly at me. "You shouldn't have come here," he hissed, his voice hollow and echoing. Before I could react, the door behind me slammed shut. The figure lunged at me, and my flashlight flickered out, plunging me into total darkness. I felt cold, skeletal hands clamp down on my shoulders, and I let out a scream that echoed through the empty house. The next morning, everything was silent. The house stood as empty and abandoned as ever, but my flashlight lay on the dusty floor where I had dropped it. No one could find me. Now, they say, if you stand outside the house at midnight, you can still hear the frantic rocking of the chair and a whisper in the wind. "I see you,"